Hebrews 10:23-25. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. 24. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. 25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as see the day approaching. The cost of standing, when truth isn't quietly opposed, but actively stopped. The day after the assembly, the school didn't react immediately. That fact made it worse for Dave. The silence, no announcement, no confrontation, no explanation. Just a strange quiet. Teachers were more formal. Students were more aware. Staff watched more closely. Dave walked through the same halls, but nothing felt the same. Eyes followed him now. Not just curiosity, attention. Whispers returned, but different. A boy said, "Did you hear what happened?" Another boy said, "He actually said that in front of everyone." A girl said, "They might suspend him." Whispers were following him everywhere. His friends stay close. Ethan didn't leave his side. He said, "God is with us." Mark said, "Don't worry about these people. God will see us through." The other's friends stayed near too, not in a dramatic way, but intentionally. The call comes. Midway through the day in the classroom, it happened again. A teacher came at the door. "Dave, you're needed in the principal's office." The classroom reacted this time. Everyone knew why Dave was summoned. Dave stood up, slower than before, not hesitant but aware. The office, different this time. When Dave entered, it wasn't just administrators, there were more people. A senior official, a guidance counselor, another staff member, and a tone so serious, so final, so definite. The statement, "Dave," one of them began, "after yesterday's events, we've reviewed the situation carefully." A pause. Then, "You directly refuse to comply with school instruction." Other administrators stood staring at him. No anger, just authority. "We have to maintain boundaries," they continued. "This cannot continue." The consequences delivered. And then the words came. Suspension. You are being suspended. Effective immediately. The room goes still. Even Dave felt it. Details follow. A senior official said, "You'll be removed from school activities. You are not to gather students." A guidance counselor said, "Any further incidents may result in expulsion. We will get you arrested." The weight lands, not just pressure now. Loss. Dave's reaction. He didn't argue, didn't protest, but just asked one thing. "How long am I suspended for?" The administrator answered, "1 week. If you cooperate with us otherwise, it will be independently." But it meant more than that. It wasn't just time. It was separation, isolation, leaving the school. Dave walked out, not through the main flow of students, who were whispering in confusion, but through the office hallway, trying to minimize the affect of fear and pain that threatened to drown him. The forced exit of school property felt heavy. Dave couldn't look at his fellow student who were watching him at the doorways in the eye. Somehow the hallway felt longer than usual. His friends step up. Ethan stood in the hallway. Not loudly, but firmly. A statement, he didn't do anything wrong. Others agree, not everyone, but enough. A shift begins. For the first time, the pressure wasn't just on Dave. It touched the whole environment. He opened the school door and enclosed behind him. At school, after he leaves, something unexpected happened. The reactions spread around. Students began talking immediately. Not quietly anymore. All having different perspectives. One said, "That's unfair." Another said, "He was just helping people." Another, "They went too far." At home, the reaction. When Dave got home, his aunt was there. She already knew, she said. I heard. You have finally ruined your miserable life. I warned you to let it go, useless boy. Satisfied evil grime on her face. She silenced him before he even spoke. Her tone not explosive, not loud but worse. She was satisfied watching Dave's downfall. She had anxiously waited for this moment. She lived for it. She had even contacted the school and convinced them to cast him out. Finally, her words. This is what happens, she said. You push things too far, and it comes back on you. The attempt to break him again. You've lost school now, she continued. Was it worth it? The moment this question was different. Dave's response. He didn't answer immediately. Then quietly he said, yes, it was worth every bit of it. The room changed, not dramatically but completely. The aunt yelled, you arrogant, poverty-stricken little brat. You still have the mouth to talk. She didn't expect that answer with no hesitation, with no regret. And that ended something again. The week of suspension. This was the real test. Day 1 silence. No school, no routine, just space. The creepy voice in Dave's thoughts said, you could have avoided this. You could have stayed quiet. You shouldn't have helped others people. You have no one. But something holds. Not emotion. Not hype. Clarity. Day 2. The visit. A knock came at the door. Ethan and Mark stood there. They said simple words. Mark said, we're not letting you sit here all alone. They came in and sat. School is not the same without you, Ethan said. Talked. Laughed even. Day 3, more kids arrive. Others' friends show up, not planned, just happening. The house changes. The same house that once felt lonely, empty and a prison. Now filled with voices, encouragement, innocent laughter. Dave's heart was filled with joy and a strange fulfillment that he couldn't explain. He thanked God for changing his life. It was no longer about him alone, but he had a responsibility to give hope to other kids like himself. Day 4. Something begins again. They all start talking like before, helping each other, but now it's different. It's not at school. It's a growing group outside. The aunt watches from afar, not knowing what to do or how to stop Dave's friends from coming into her house. She feels defeated. Her plan to break him is not succeeding since he has many children backing up his faith. I'll keep trying. It's not over yet, she said. Day 5, realization. Dave sits back, watching, listening, and he understands this didn't stop anything, it moved it. Seeing his friends visiting him every day gave him more courage to stand for the truth and make a difference in people's lives. Dave trusted in the Lord throughout his suspension. He knew he wasn't alone anymore, and his aunt had no power over him as she did before. Full circle. The consequence of suspension becomes expansion. The school tried to contain the power of God, but it couldn't be contained because it wasn't tied to a place, but to a being greater than time itself, and that hope, strength and faith was put in a people that society considered irrelevant. The school removed Dave from the school building, but what had begun was in the hearts, deep within the soul. It couldn't be removed with mere human hands. Dave, the return. When you walk back into what tried to remove you. The last day of suspension. The week had passed differently than Dave expected. Not empty, not wasted, but full. Every day someone came. Ethan, Mark and others didn't just visit. They stayed. They talked. They listened. They changed. And the best part, the more his aunt tried to stop his friends from coming over, the more crowds gathered in the compound. For 7 days, kids from different classes showed up to show their support to Dave. Some even brought gifts. Something had grown. What started in school had continued outside of it. Stronger, more real, less restricted. The night before returning, Dave sat by the window, looking out, quiet. The thoughts came again. What will it be like tomorrow? Will it be worse? Will they push harder? Will you continue? What if there is a trap waiting for you? But this time those thoughts didn't control him. Dave said simply, I'll walk into the school and go to my class the same way I walked out, with faith in my God. Dave had unwavering courage and faith in the one that has brought him this far. What used to torment him no longer has power over him. The aunt that used to cause him tremendous fear and pronounced evil words against him, she no longer has absolute control over him. Morning, the return. The air felt different that morning. Cool, still. Dave stepped out of the house. Not rushed, not hesitant. The walk back, every step toward the school carried memory. The office, the assembly, the suspension, but none of it felt heavy anymore. The doors he reached the school entrance. Paused. Just for a second. Then opened the door. Inside again. The hallway looked exactly the same. Same lockers. Same lights. Same noise. But the reaction was not the same. Eyes turn again, people noticed immediately. Whispers returned. But it's different now. Not just curiosity, recognition. He's back. That's him. He didn't leave. Dave keeps walking, not faster, not slower. Steady. His friends find him first. Ethan spotted him almost instantly. A grin broke across his face. You're back. Welcome back, buddy, he said. Dave nodded. Yeah. Thanks. I guess nothing has changed here. Mark joined. Other friends followed. No big moment, no dramatic reunion. Just presence. But it meant more to Dave because they were still there. After everything that had happened. First period. The shift. When Dave entered class, the room changed slightly. The teacher's reaction. A pause. A glance. Then, take your seat. No lecture, no public correction. No confrontation. But the awareness was there. Students watched, some avoid him. Some stared. Some looked. Thoughtful. Midday. The tension builds again. By lunch, the pressure returned. A staff warning. A teacher approached him quietly. Dave, they said, just remember what we discussed. The meaning was clear. Don't speak. Don't gather. Don't continue. Dave's response, he nodded. I understand. But inside, he knew something deeper. Understanding wasn't the same as stopping. Lunchtime. The test returns, he sat down. Not at the center, not hidden either. His friends joined one by one. Ethan, Mark, Lucas, and others. Then something happened. A student approached, not part of their group. He hesitated. Can I sit here? The table goes quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. Dave looks up, not dramatic, just open. Yeah, he said. The line is crossed again, not loudly. Not officially, but clearly. The conversation begins quiet. Careful, I just needed to talk, the student said. Dave listened. Like always. No preaching, no pushing. Just listening. Across the room, eyes watching. Teachers noticed. Again. But this time something was different. It wasn't just Dave. It was the group. Ethan leaned in. Lucas spoke gently. Others supported it. It couldn't be pointed at one person. After school, a bigger realization, they gathered again. Outside this time. More people came, not forced. Drawn. Dave steps back. Watching. Because now it wasn't centered on him. Ethan speaks to someone new, Lucas listens to another. The group expands naturally. Dave understands. This isn't something that can be stopped by removing one person. It's alive in others now. Final confrontation. Subtle but powerful. Later that day, an administrator passed by. He paused. Watched the group. giving them a long look, not anger, not approval. Silent recognition. They say nothing and walk away. Full circle. The return means more. Dave didn't come back the same. He returned with evidence, not arguments, not words. People, changed people. Final reflection. The system tried to contain it, but it had already spread quietly, naturally, unstoppably. Final line, they let him back into the building. But what he carried no longer depended on it. Hebrews 10:32-36. But call to remembrance the former days, in which, after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of afflictions. Partly, whilst ye were made a gazing stock both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly, whilst ye became companions of them that were so used. For ye had compassion of me in my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and an enduring substance. Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. For ye have need of patience, that, after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise. Thank you all for watching The Boy No One Chose Part 8. The lesson in this is that nothing good comes easy, and whenever God is moving greatly in our lives, Satan moves against us also. The Lord delivered Dave and is using his life to save and deliver others. But with that calling comes responsibilities, afflictions, and prosecution. Moreover, Dave proved his faithfulness to the Lord by enduring through trials, not by questioning but believing. If this situation happened to you, will you stand for God or will you turn away? We all have choices to make. As long as we walk in the light, darkness will fight against us, but it will not prevail. God promised us victory.